Good morning, everyone. This is Julie McDonald with Microcom Technologies, and I'd like to thank all of you for attending today's webinar with MetaGeek. Today's host is Casey Cathy. He is their experience specialist, and he'll be presenting today. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to submit them in the question box, and at the end of the presentation, I'll ask Casey the questions, and he'll answer them for us. Thank you so much, Casey, for being here with us today. I am finished for now. You can go ahead and take it on over.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, Julie. Like Julie said, my name is Casey. I'm the Customer Experience Specialist here at MetaGeek. So I'm the frontline support, and some certifications that I have a CWNA and a CWSP. This is put on by a company called CWNP, stands for Certified Wireless Network Professionals, and basically just some certifications that show I kind of know a little bit about wireless technology like Wi-Fi. Again, MetaGeek is a Wi-Fi troubleshooting company. We're based in Boise, Idaho. So kind of a joke we have is we make our Wi-Spy hardware from Idaho grown potatoes. We're about 16 to 17 employees. This picture over here is a picture from our office in downtown Boise. We love it here. So again, we sell Wi-Fi troubleshooting software. You might have heard of Insider, Chanalyzer, and IPA. Those are the three software that we make here. And then we also manufacture a hardware component called the Wi-Spy, which is a spectrum analyzer. And that's what I'm going to talk about today, Chanalyzer plus the Wi-Spy DBX. Remember that Wi-Fi uses RF radio frequencies with data on it. And so this is the cable tester of Wi-Fi. Before Wi-Fi was big, we used cable testers for Ethernet cables. Well, now it's a wireless medium, so that's what this is, basically a wireless cable tester. It helps you see the invisible, basically. So remember that Wi-Fi operates on specific channels in the 2.4 or the 5 gigahertz spectrum. So if you've ever set up your own Wi-Fi network, you know that you have to choose a specific channel to operate on. Usually it's 1 through 11 in the 2.4 gigahertz spectrum, or 36 through 165 in the 5 gigahertz spectrum. So this tool really helps you monitor the saturation on a channel. Shows you how much it's being bombarded by RF, because there's a lot of devices that operate in the 2.4 gigahertz spectrum specifically. I'll go over that later, but you'd be surprised how much other devices share spectrum with Wi-Fi and the channels that Wi-Fi operate on. Let's see here. So again, it'll help you locate sources of interference, things like baby monitors, cordless phones, microwaves, wireless video cameras. All of these things will actually interfere with your Wi-Fi, particularly in the 2.4 gigahertz range. So it's really handy to have a tool like Chanalyzer to help you kind of visualize that and track it down so that you can eliminate it. Like I said, a lot of cordless phones in the 90s and early 2000s used 2.4 gigahertz radio frequencies to operate on. And those can just wreak havoc on Wi-Fi. Microwaves, particularly, like I said earlier, you'd be surprised how many companies have Wi-Fi issues during lunchtime because people are using microwaves, and even a leaky microwave can just cause havoc and cause devices to drop out. So it's good to have a tool to visualize that. And of course, Chanalyzer doesn't only just show you spectrum data, which is this color data here. It also shows you network data, which are these haystacks or these ziggurats here. And these are neighboring networks. So this is, for instance, the MetaGeek network we have here on channel 6. And this just shows you some of the neighboring networks that are possibly causing interference with our channel. And it also shows you the signal strength of these networks, which is really handy to find dead spots. So if you ever had a spot where your phone doesn't connect to the network or something like that, if you had Chanalyzer open at that spot, you would see this haystack at a really low threshold. So Chanalyzer helps you visualize that just by also displaying that Wi-Fi data on top of the spectrum data. And I think the biggest feature, the most important feature, in my opinion, is the waterfall graph here. So like a DVR, you can actually pause, rewind, fast forward your spectrum data. And this is really handy if you need to, if you have a problem, like a lot of Wi-Fi issues, you don't really know when or how or why, like let's say a device drops off the network and you don't know when it happens or how it happens. It's really handy to be able to set a laptop with Chanalyzer open, set it down for a couple hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. Hopefully you catch the problem, and then you can go back and take a look at the spectrum and see, what happened. This was particularly helpful, like I was talking about earlier, for a company that was having issues at lunch. So we set the laptop down at lunchtime, and we were able to see that, spectrum data come at lunch. We were able to see that there was what looked like microwave interference, and sure enough, it was really easy to troubleshoot that. Another really great feature of Chanalyzer is we do have a report builder accessory. So you can actually put all this information into a nice clean report. It makes you look really professional. You can hand it to your client. And we also have little descriptions in the report that show, kind of explain what the density, what the colors mean. It's really educational as well as, reporting. Another great feature that we have here is if you have Cisco access points, you can actually connect to those Cisco APs and view the spectrum remotely. So you don't even have to be in the same area as it, since Cisco has really great infrastructure set up to look at that spectrum remotely. So just another cool accessory if you are a Cisco AP administrator. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of hop in and show you a demo real quick. I should have my VMware here fired up, and I'm just going to open up Chanalyzer and just kind of show you what it can do and show you a couple sample recordings. So when you first open up Chanalyzer without a Wi-Fi DBX attached, which is that hardware component that we have, it just opens up like this. And this is basically the trial experience as well. So if you can even Google Chanalyzer trial, and you can get a trial yourself and see what it can do. There's some really great lessons that you can take a look at. We also have some sample recordings that are really great, so you can kind of see, like, as if you did have a Wi-Fi DBX, this is what it would look like. Definitely recommend checking that out. Again, you could just Google Chanalyzer trial to pull this up. So I'm going to go ahead and plug in a Wi-Fi DBX. And you'll kind of see what it looks like. So again, I'm downtown Boise, Idaho. This is a building that has a lot of other companies. So right off the bat, you can just see that the 2.4 gigahertz spectrum is highly oversaturated here. This is actually a lot worse than it normally is. We have some construction going up right now just above us, and I think this is kind of showing some of the RF from some of the equipment up there or something, because it's usually not this bad. So as you can imagine, having a Wi-Fi network in this building can be pretty difficult at times. You can just see this heavy saturations on, it looks like this is on channel 2 and 6 and 10 or 11 here. So again, not the best environment for a Wi-Fi network. So fortunately, I'm Ethernet in right here, and we also have the 5 gigahertz setup, which is nice. So one thing I like to do is I want to take a look at both bands. Since we do have a dual band network set up here, I'm going to go ahead and switch in the Wi-Fi menu, switch to dual band. And what this does is it just tells the Wi-Fi DBX to sweep the 2.4 and the 5 gigahertz band, so I can see the radio frequencies occurring on both bands here. So again, the 2.4 is showing me the same thing. If I want to switch over to the 5 gigahertz, I just go and click this arrow here in the top left corner. And this is the 5 gigahertz band, which looks a little busy, but as you can see, there's a lot more room, a lot less red, right, than if we switch back to the 2.4. And so red basically just means that more than 50% of the spectrum is being utilized. So we would probably see a lot of dropouts here if we were to try to put a network on here. And I'm going to go ahead and use the filtering aspect here. Since as you can see, there's so many networks here, I'm just going to go ahead and type in MetaGeek and just filter down some of these MetaGeek APs that I know exist here. So here's kind of a couple APs we have here at MetaGeek. And if you just click this checkbox, it'll overlay that Zig route or that haystack across the RF spectrum, which is really handy. And the same thing should apply here in the 5 gigahertz. So we can see we have a access point here on channel 40, and this one is down in the coffee area, so I labeled it coffee area. And then we have one on channel 165 here, and this one's actually just outside my office. If I weren't Ethernet in right here, this would be the AP that I would connect to, or the radio. So as you can see, pretty handy to have this tool, and you can even see here this waterfall network over here, this waterfall graph, just kind of showing that spectrum. I have a couple good recordings I want to show you, kind of to show you another good use case for this. This is, we had an old employee here make this recording with a cordless phone. So I think this was in the old office here. We have a MetaGeek network here on channel 5, and then another MetaGeek network over here on channel 11. And you can probably see what's coming up. That's what's really great about this waterfall navigation over here on the left-hand side. At about 9:30, you can see this red line here. And that was indeed a cordless phone. So I'm going to go ahead and fast forward and kind of show you what this would look like. As soon as the employee turned this cordless phone on, you'll start to see a spike form right here. And this just illustrates a perfect use case for Chanalyzer, finding interference like this, because this really would cause a lot of problems on this network here. Wi-Fi devices would drop out. And you can start to see this spike form here in between channels 3 and 4. And again, this was just a standard cordless phone. I think my parents have the same model phone in their house, and they wonder sometimes why the Wi-Fi drops out. This just shows you what that is. If you go to the interferers tab here in Chanalyzer, you can actually take a look at some of the signatures of some devices. So this one was particularly a cordless phone. So I can click on cordless phone, and I can kind of move my mouse up, and I can kind of see if that matches. And indeed, it looks like it does match the signature of a cordless phone. I know it's not an AV transmitter because the AV transmitter has these little shoulders, so on and so forth. Another great common one is Bluetooth. This environment looks like had some Bluetooth spikes, but typically Bluetooth doesn't take up a lot of spectrum. It's really light, and it hops from frequency to frequency. So it really doesn't do a lot of damage to your network unless you have a lot of it. Another really common use case for this tool is for a lot of our custom or smart home integrators who use ZigBee or Crestron or any sort of wireless technology. This recording shows you what ZigBee does to the 2.4 gigahertz spectrum. If you don't know, ZigBee is kind of a wireless technology similar to Wi-Fi that helps control a lot of smart home stuff, like the wireless lights. That's kind of big right now. Wireless video cameras. People like to have cameras watching, the outside and maybe monitoring, their bedroom or something like that. You name it. There's wireless, remotes for their television, things like that. They all operate in this 2.4 gigahertz spectrum, and this is what it looks like. As you can see, trying to have a Wi-Fi network on top of this would be very difficult. And Chanalyzer gets to show you why that is. I'm going to go ahead and pause this just to show you, that you can just keep this as it is. We do have a ZigBee signature here to kind of show you that these certainly align with that. Furthermore, you can actually overlay the ZigBee channels across the spectrum. So now instead of seeing 1 through 11, you can see 11 through 26, which are the channels that ZigBee devices operate on. So what I typically recommend here is to put whatever you can in the 5 gigahertz spectrum if you're a Wi-Fi installer. There's just too much going on in the 2.4. Put everything you can to the 5 gigahertz. If you have to have both operating in the same spectrum, in the same 2.4 gigahertz spectrum, I would just move all the ZigBee over to channels, 22, 23, 24, 25, and move your Wi-Fi all the way to the left of the spectrum, right on channel 1, which would align with channels 11, 12, 13 ZigBee. And then, like I said, the report builder accessory is pretty important here. Basically, if you just create a new report, you can hit the plus here to add whatever you want. So right now, I want to maybe show the density graph. I want to show the customer these the significant interference from their ZigBee devices, and kind of illustrate what this means, right? Blue less than 10%, green 20, yellow is 40%, red is over 50% utilized, which we see a lot of red here. This would, and you can even add your own custom notes if you click this pencil, and you can even add your own custom notes here if you wanted to say something along the lines of, your network, wouldn't be able to operate here, and so on and so forth. And then you can add, the waterfall graph. This would be great where if, microwaves were operating at lunchtime, you could show that at noon, this microwave was operating here, and you can put notes to it. And then of course you can save this report and give it to your customer. It makes you look really, really professional. This is probably one of the most favorite features that our customers tell us they like quite a bit. And then again, like I said, I'm kind of making this brief. I'm not trying to be super technical here. One last thing that's really nice is that you can connect to a Cisco Clean Air AP. We don't have the Cisco AP set up right now, or otherwise I would demo this. But basically, you just need the IP address and the NSI key of your access point, and you can actually just log in and remotely view the spectrum wherever that AP is, which is pretty neat, especially if, like I said, if you're a Cisco AP administrator. I believe that's about all I have, Julie. I know it's a little short, but I just kind of wanted to give a basic overview of Chanalyzer, some of the things. And again, I recommend getting a trial of this software and seeing what it can do, and then definitely talk with Julie and see about getting the full package with the Wi-Fi DBX and the software as well.
Thank you very much, Corey, for that presentation. We greatly appreciate it and enjoyed it very much. And I do have a couple of questions here for you. Let's start off with this first one. Does the Chanalyzer trial version have the same or main features as a paid version?
Yeah, no, it's actually the exact same version. Like I said, it basically, the only thing is you don't have a Wi-Fi DBX, so you're not really able to do anything with it unless you get that hardware component. So if you were to get a Wi-Fi DBX, it's the exact same experience as if you had the full version. The trial just expires after 7 days, so you just get 7 days of it, but it's nothing's stripped down or anything like that.
Thank you very much. I've got another question here for you. Does MetaGeek also offer a trial version on Insider Office or IPA?
We do. Yep. Same thing. If you just Google Insider Office trial or IPA trial, that should get you to the right form, and we do offer trials for those pieces of software as well. Absolutely.
Thank you for that. Another question here for you. Is the analyzer a dual spectrum or tri-spectrum analyzer?
Yeah, it's a good question. The DBX actually stands for dual band. So it's two bands, the 2.4 gigahertz and the 5 gigahertz band. Right now, that's really all that Wi-Fi operates on. There aren't any amendments. There actually, I mean, if you get technical, there are a couple more bands that Wi-Fi operates on, but they're really small corner cases. The large majority of Wi-Fi operates in those two bands. And so far, no other bands have been truly amended into the Wi-Fi standards yet. So we probably won't see a tri-band spectrum analyzer for a while. So this one is just dual band because we focus on Wi-Fi specifically.
Thank you very much for that. Can you give us an overview of MetaGeek support for either customer service, technical support, or what would be like the best reason to get you on the phone?
Oh, well, you know, I really kind of do a lot of different things here. Honestly, a lot of times, you know, if customers see bugs or things like that, I will put those into intake so our engineers can take a look at it. I also am happy to do, you know, trialing. I'm happy to do, we offer a service called consulting. So if you do have our tools, say Insider or Chanalyzer, IPA, you can just give me a call and I'd be happy to consult that, even, you know, screen share see what you're seeing and kind of give you some advice and best practices. A lot of these tools do rely on a little bit of Wi-Fi knowledge. You kind of have to know a little bit about Wi-Fi. So we're happy to offer that education as well. That's a big part of what I do here is just consulting and helping people out, you know, troubleshoot their networks. And there's a wide range of people that use our tools. We have network admins that are managing their own networks. We have personal users that just want to set up their own personal home network. And then we have people that, you know, are IT guys that are paid to go and manage other people's networks. And you know, like I said, I see a lot of custom AV installers as well who don't know that much about Wi-Fi, but they want to learn. So they give me calls all the time to help them set up their routers and things like that. Really, it's kind of a grab bag. I do a lot of different things here. I'm also happy to do, you know, sales related calls as well, things like that, product selection. Really, if you name it, and I'm happy to help.
Thank you very much for that. Does MetaGeek have a public forum?
Good question. We do have a forum. And I think it's just forum.metageek.com, I believe is the address. Don't quote me on that, but it's the last time I checked, it wasn't super active. I would recommend just browsing our knowledge base. The knowledge base is support.metageek.com. That's where we have most of our education, and you know, people can comment and things like that. We do have a forum, but I think it's not as active as we want it to be, unfortunately. So I would just recommend going to our knowledge base, which again is support.metageek.com.
Thank you very much for that. We like to ask about forums and where to get the knowledge. That's why we ask, because if customers ask or if we want to go on there too as well. Casey, thank you so much for answering those questions for us. We enjoyed the presentation. And thank you to everyone for attending today. And if anyone has any further questions for Microcom, please feel free to contact the sales rep here or email us at sales@microcomtech.com. And if you wish to view any of the products mentioned or shown today, please visit us at www.microcom.us. And remember, this webinar presentation has been recorded and it will be uploaded to our Microcom YouTube channel so it can be viewed again. Thank you very much, Casey. We appreciate it very much.
Not a problem. Thank you, Julie.
Thank you. Everybody have a fantastic day.